My name is Anya. Today is the most important day of my life as I get to marry the love of my life, Elijah. We dated for 3 days and today we went to the city hall to register our marriage first thing in the morning. Then we headed straight to the wedding venue. I had been waiting for this day for so long. Luckily, both my parents and Elijah's parents are not the kind of people who interfere in our lives, and they supported our decision to get married from the beginning. My mother, in particular, said, "Do whatever you want. I'll support you." Elijah is such a kind person who always puts me first. He helps me when I'm in trouble and scolds me when I make mistakes. He has always been my side, gentle when I need it, and strict when I need it. That's why I immediately said yes when he proposed. I had no reason to refuse because I owe everything to him. We received blessings from both families, friends, and colleagues at our wedding. We felt like the happiest couple in the world. I tasted the ultimate happiness, and I was filled with hope for our married life together. Every day since I married Elijah has been truly happy. We rented an apartment not far from our parents' homes, and I'm grateful that we have a good relationship with our in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, who always cared about me. I also grew to love her and went out to eat or shopping with her regularly. But I never thought it would come to this. A few months after marrying Elijah, I finished my part-time job and returned home to prepare dinner, just as it was almost ready. Elijah came home at the perfect time. "Welcome home, Elijah. Another tiring day, haha." As I greeted him, something seemed off about Elijah. Normally, he would loudly say, "I'm home." But for some reason, he didn't do that today. "Elijah?" I leaned in closer, and Elijah's face was pale. "Wait, something wrong. Are you feeling okay?" Worried, I asked, and Elijah opened his heavy mouth and spoke in a small voice. "My mom, she fell down the stairs. My dad just called." Your mother?" Suddenly, it felt like time stood still. According to what Elijah told me, his mother slipped on the stairs at their house and fell. She was conscious, but she had lost all sensation in her right leg. How did that happen? The fact that his lively and energetic mother had become unable to work was shocking. I was devastated. Of course, Elijah, her own son, wouldn't easily accept it either. But I loved his mother just as much as he did. I cherished her as if she were my own mother. That's why it hit me so hard. I paused in the middle of preparing dinner and talked to Elijah. "Your father doesn't seem to be in great shape either. I'm worried about your mother. Is she okay?" I asked him, and Elijah replied, "It's hard to say right now, but my brother and his wife also live with my parents." That's right, Elijah has an older brother named Eric. Eric is married to a woman named Ivana, and they live together with Elijah's parents, but I couldn't imagine Ivana taking care of my mother-in-law. I know it's not right to think like this, but I didn't get along well with Ivana. The first time I visited Elijah's parents' house, I began to feel that way. We were still engaged, not yet married. His parents and his brother Eric welcomed me warmly, and I had a really good time. But during our lively conversations, Ivana didn't utter a single word. When I exhausted myself to use the restroom, Ivana said, "Let me show you the way," and left me there. I thought she might be just a quiet person, but then she suddenly said, "So how does it feel to be showered with attention? Enjoying yourself?" I was taken aback. I didn't know how to respond. Well, let me make it clear, nobody here is welcoming you, and they're all just putting on a show, so don't get carried away, okay? With that, she went back to the living room where everyone else was. I stood there, dumbfounded. On the way home, I discussed the incident with Elijah, who seemed troubled. "Yeah, I've heard some things from my brother. She's just straightforward in her personality, and apparently, she always wants to compare herself to others," he said. As I listened to Elijah's words, I strangely found myself understanding. At the same time, I became convinced that she wasn't someone I could get along with. Thinking back on those old memories, I decided to go to Elijah's parents' house with him. His father had said, "I want to have a proper conversation with everyone once." So we headed to his parents' house on our day off. When we arrived, Elijah's mother was still in the hospital, so his father greeted us. As we walked towards the living room, Ivana, as expected, glared at me. Feeling awkward, I instinctively averted my gaze. "Well, have a seat." Upon his father's words, Elijah and I took our seats. "Today is about none other than your mother." He began explaining the current state of Elijah's mother. She was conscious and able to have normal conversations, and her life was not an immediate danger. However, she still had no feeling in her right leg, and there was a possibility she might end up bedridden. As I listened to the conversation, tears welled up. I knew it, but to see my mother-in-law, who was so lively before, end up bedridden. Would we no longer be able to go out together? Such thoughts weighed heavily on my chest. Looking around, Elijah and Eric were also visibly shocked. Their heads hung low. However, amidst them all, Ivana was the only one looking at her smartphone, seemingly oblivious to her father-in-law's words. "Is she not able to come back home anymore?" As I spoke up, Elijah's father turned towards me and said, "No, it seems the hospital policy doesn't allow them to treat bedridden patients at home. My wife is conscious, and besides her right leg, there aren't any other major issues. I'll likely be home care for her." "So it'll be home care?" As I looked down, Elijah's father encouraged me with his words. "Well, Anya, if they say she'll be bedridden for the rest of her life, it doesn't seem like it will be the case." Is that so?" "According to the doctor, it seems like she has a bone injury. They say that with proper rehabilitation, there's a good chance she'll improve over time." He said that with a gentle smile. "I see. That's a relief." Feeling relieved, tears welled up and escaped from my eyes. Meanwhile, Elijah and Eric were discussing the details of his mother's condition with his father. As I glanced around, I felt a gaze and noticed Ivana glaring at me once again. Hypocrite. She muttered those words quietly, but they were audible enough for me to hear. Feeling uneasy, I looked down once more. Then, Elijah's father brought up the conversation again. I'll take care of my wife, but if anything happens, I want everyone to cooperate. Of course. Absolutely. As Elijah and I replied, Ivana interjected with a loud voice. Everyone's gaze naturally shifted towards Ivana. I've been thinking. Saying that, she looked at me. Anya, let's take care of your mother-in-law together. She suddenly brought up such a thing. Uh-huh. What, you don't like it? In response to my perplexed reaction to her sudden proposal, Ivana pressed further. No, it's not that I don't like it. It's true that your father-in-law's back isn't in great shape, so it would be better if we... Then, it's settled. It would be difficult to come here every day, so why not live together at this point? Uh-huh. Ivana kept pushing the conversation forward without considering my feelings, and I started to panic. Eric, who had been listening, said, Hey, isn't that too sudden? It's troublesome to be told all of a sudden, right? But Ivana said, But caregiving is a 24-hour job, right? It would be tough to come here every day, don't you agree? She looked at me as she said that. Certainly, living together would be easier. As I said that, my husband looked troubled and said, It's up to Anya to decide. I'll support and help in any way. Shall we live together? He said that. And so, as Ivana insisted, we ended up living together at my in-laws' place. Moving day, since Elijah was at work, I was supposed to go to my in-laws' house first. It seemed that my father-in-law had gone to pick up my mother-in-law, so the one who greeted me was Ivana. Oh, you are here. Saying that, Ivana didn't change her expression. To such Ivana, I said, Nice to meet you, I'm studying today. Bow down, as I said that. Quickly put down your belongings and clean up my mother-in-law's room. You'll take care of everything. She said that. Uh-huh. Ivana, everything? I thought caregiving would be on a rotating basis between you and me. I asked like that. You are so annoying. You are at the bottom of the hierarchy, so shut up and do as you are told. She shouted at me like that. Not used to this kind of situation, I quickly apologized. I'm sorry. I said that while apologizing. Then my sister-in-law Ivana said, Gaze. And she returned to the living room, starting to watch TV and drink tea by herself. I hurriedly unpacked my belongings, as instructed, and cleaned up my mother-in-law's room. At that moment, the doorbell rang, and it was my father-in-law and mother-in-law returning home. Welcome back, mother-in-law, I said that, and from behind, Ivana pushed me aside and said, Actually, I was in the middle of cleaning my mother-in-law's room. She said that. One day, as I was about to leave for the bank for some errand, Wait a minute. She called out to me from behind. Where are you going? I'm going to the bank to deposit some money. I said. What about taking care of your mother-in-law? Do it properly. She shouted at me like that. But today is Ivana's turn, right? I'm always changing my schedule for Ivana, and I don't even have time to go outside. I asked like that. I don't know about that. Just do it quickly. I'm the one going out now. Saying that, Ivana grabbed her bag and left. Unfortunately, my father-in-law also had a community gathering today, and wouldn't be back until evening. I couldn't just leave my mother-in-law alone, so I gave up on going to the bank and stayed at home. From then on, Ivana never took care of the situation, and I was burdened every day. Feeling fed up, I decided to consult my father-in-law. It seemed that my father-in-law had spoken to Ivana because she came to me and apologized in front of him. I'm sorry, Anya. I've been relying on you too much, she said while shedding tears. Seeing her in a state I couldn't imagine from her usual self, I felt a little scared, but I had hoped that this would be an opportunity for her to change. However, a few days later, while I was cleaning the house, Ivana approached me. You snitched on me, and now I got scolded by your father-in-law. It's all your fault. Will you apologize? Saying that, Ivana looked at me with a smirk. I could tell she didn't reflect it on her actions at all, and it made me angry. Suppressing the urge to yell, I firmly said, I won't apologize. I made it clear. Ivana momentarily looked surprised at my defiant attitude, but quickly regained her composure and said, Anya, you are really annoying. Just leave already. Saying that, Ivana burst into laughter. At that moment, I felt something inside me go cold. Understood, I'll gladly leave. I said that as I walked past Ivana, returned to my room, packed my things, and left my in-laws' house. While I was getting ready, Ivana made a lot of noise, but I ignored it all. When leaving my in-laws' house, it seemed like she was shouting various things, but I didn't respond and just walked out. Then, after a while, I received a call from my husband, Elijah. He was worried because I wasn't home, so he decided to call. When he asked Ivana about my whereabouts, she left on her own. That's all she said, so I told Elijah everything. As a result, Ivana's true nature was exposed, and both Elijah and Eric became furious with her. Eric asked her to apologize to me, but Ivana replied, Why should I apologize? That's what she said. Hearing this, my father-in-law, who was listening, got angry and said, Anya has been providing monthly care expenses for her mother. I didn't notice, and I was at fault, but I never thought Ivana could be so despicable. He expressed his anger. Yes, even though it was just a small amount, I had been giving money to my mother-in-law every month, hoping it would help her. I hadn't even told Elijah about this, so he was quite surprised. In the end, Eric had enough and said, We are getting a divorce, get out of here. With those words, Eric kicked Ivana out of the house. I don't know where Ivana went after that. I received a request from my mother-in-law to come back, so I decided to return to my in-laws' house. Even though Ivana was no longer there, and caregiving was by no means easy. My mother-in-law's condition improved day by day, and now she can even work with the help of a cane. Alex still seems to feel inferior to me. If there's anything troubling you, please let me know. He actively helps with household chores as well. My husband Elijah also supports me more than ever. So living at my in-laws' house is no longer a burden at all. I feel no sympathy for Ivana. It's her own doing, and she deserves it. I'll make sure not to end up like her. With that in my mind, I live my life every day.